Hello, people of the internet.
You gotta keep going now.
Welcome to episode 75 of the FlipScreen Games podcast. Excuse me. A weekly video game podcast where two people, friends from the same nation, come together to discuss video games. And there's lots of video games. I'm your host, Max Wright, and I'm joined by Stephen Radford, as always.
Hello. Well, not as always. Sometimes, someone I can be bothered
Sometimes
to
it's
show
not.
up.
Yeah.
But
now, the reason that sounded terrible for those listening is because I originally just completely copied Pete, as I often like to do.
you look the same. Where's the blue hair though? Like, what's going on?
Yeah, I know. My beard's not as good as his, and yeah. I just tried to sort of do a Pete thing. It didn't work out for me, so I decided to riff it, and apparently that's not my strong point. So welcome to a slightly unorthodox introduction to the episode. This is quicker than the last one. Very much quicker than the last one, to be honest. So
I like it.
Yeah. Well, on that speeding through things, why don't we jump straight into it again with... Okay. Yeah. Sorry, you're not ready for that?
No, it's fine. You're the host. We're just straight in the fast lane today. It's great. I like it.
Well, we don't have to be straight in the fast lane. How are you, Steve?
I'm okay. How are you?
I'm very well. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. Pete's not here. Very sad for us.
He isn't here, and it is sad. But that life goes on, and we've got to record a show. We've got two shows to record.
We do.
So look out for me and Max in your ears, eyes.
Yeah.
Wherever.
Wearing different outfits, hopefully. As that's what I like to do when I record.
Oh, see, I
shows
usually forget to do that. But we are recording on different days, so hopefully I'll have a different jumper on tomorrow.
This is why I get to be host this time. Let's kick things off today. Yesterday there was an Xbox Developer Direct. It was very strongly rumoured, I think, for most of January. There were people saying it was going to happen and that certain things were going to be shown off. And that was yesterday.
Exactly what was going to be shown there. It was like we're going to show 4 games, and you're going to have like dates that are going to be announced for releases in 2023. They said Starfield wasn't going to be there, and it's getting its own event. I think they've confirmed that now, along with like the summer showcase that they're doing. But they had like a surprise game that they showed off as well, which was nice.
Yes, which we'll get to. So in the end, it showed off 5 games, all from sort of internal studios. So not like a normal sort of Nintendo Direct where it might be sort of a mix. This was very much internal stuff. We'll get to the sort of the new game in a moment, but let's start off with: did you actually end up watching the event live, Steve, or did you just catch up on it like I did?
No, I was watching it live. I was at my friend Nat's house, and he was making us some lovely soup. And then he has notoriously terrible internet in his flat.
Nice.
So,
okay.
It like cut out while they were showing Hi-Fi Rush, and I was like, we heard audio, but there was like the pictures weren't moving, and I was really excited about the game because it was like the new game that we didn't know anything about. Like we'd all seen the other ones. I didn't really care about any of those, so I was just like, I really wanted to see what Hi-Fi Rush was all about, and I missed it.
And you thought it was like The Quarry, where it was like all still images, but there's voices and stuff.
That's like the Dusk to Dawn or whatever it's called.
Dusk to Dawn,
like,
whatever. Dusk Falls.
Yeah, As Dusk Falls. That's it. Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was like
now,
that.
What interested me most about this event is that I think it's one of the first sort of like non-Nintendo events in this style that's specifically referred to itself as a Direct.
Yeah, I think
like
you're
this was
probably
called
right.
the Developer Direct, right?
Yeah.
Now, we know that Sony has been doing State of Plays for a few years now, and a lot of people have jumped on the sort of Nintendo bandwagon as things often happen. Nintendo comes in, it sets a sort of stage.
Like PlayStations are more similar to a Nintendo Direct. This very much was
massively.
like developer centric. It was we're going to go over to the developers' offices. They're going to show you some behind the scenes stuff. They're going to talk about the development process. They'll like have multiple people that worked on the game, and you'll kind of hear from the horse's mouth what it's all about, what they did. Forza Motorsport, I think, was the biggest example of that. Like they went into intricate detail about like the number of cars, the photogrammetry that they did on the tracks, all sorts of things like that. But I liked it.
I do think that is a great way of doing it. I remember specifically E3 2014, there was a Nintendo Direct where they like announced Splatoon, and they cut to the developers, and developers did a whole bit about this is our new idea, this is the new game, and they had a lot of that sort of stuff. I feel like a lot of that has dropped out of Nintendo Directs. The indie Directs do it a lot, where they just go, or the
Well,
indie
you're right.
worlds,
They'll
whatever
have
they're
that like
called.
little piece, and then maybe like the interview after they've seen the trailer. But so, what did you think of our game? You know, like I remember with that like a little to the left cat game in one of the Nintendo Directs specifically because they showed the cat that the game was based on.
Yes,
I
remember
do
that.
like those kind of bits if they're done well. Sometimes they can drag on and be really boring, but
Yes.
I think Microsoft did a really good job. The production quality was clearly really high. They've like brought in a team specifically to produce this and go around to all of the different studios.
Well, let's dive into what these studios are talking about, shall we? So I think it opened with Minecraft Legends from memory. This is a game I wasn't actually aware even existed until this event.
Oh, really?
I mean, well, there's always different. I know the Minecraft Dungeons one, and there's other Minecraft titles, but this one specifically, having watched the gameplay that we're looking at now, this is the first I ever saw
They
of this
hadn't
game.
ever shown it really. So they'd shown
Right.
they'd shown the game. I think they'd shown this footage that we're seeing now, but no one really knew what it was. Like they hadn't shown any of the base building stuff and the fact that you went to kind of assemble an army and it was a bit of like a strategy game. I don't think they'd revealed any of that. They'd spoken about what the game was, but never really shown us in intricate detail.
I think this is an odd choice for Minecraft specifically. I know that you can sort of, there is a little bit of base building, but like I just don't know how they've put this together other than it's a strong IP. But it's also a strong IP to do something that I would say it seems quite risky to do something like this. Considering the sort of maybe age demographic of Minecraft. I know it's sort of quite general. I play Minecraft, but I feel like something like this maybe is maybe a bit riskier, but yeah, I mean, it's to be seen, I guess, isn't it?
Yeah, possibly. I mean, I think Microsoft's kind of risk strategy when it comes to games like this are people going to subscribe to Game Pass and play it? But with this one, it's got the Minecraft label, and I feel like the Minecraft moniker is the same as like Mario when it comes to Nintendo games, so they could put that on it and it'll sell. It might not sell like hotcakes, but it will sell some. And I agree with you. I think it's just a bit of a strange one, but I could also see it as, thousands of people grew up with Minecraft. They've grown up. They love it. My partner's one of them, and then moved on to other genres. And why not cater to all of them, right? We had the dungeon crawler, as you said, with Minecraft Dungeons. Why not have like the action strategy game and base building and that kind of thing catered by Minecraft Legends? And I think my biggest issue with it was visually, it looked very, very confusing and chaotic on the screen. Like all of the elements seemed to merge into one. Like the characters that you were moving seemed to merge into the background because of, I think it was kind of the angle that it was at. It looked very confusing to me. But I kind of feel that way about all strategy games that I look at someone else playing, and when I'm playing it myself, I can kind of understand what's going on.
Yeah, you need to sort of understand what's going on because otherwise it just looks like a mess, doesn't it? It's like if anyone looks at the Xenoblade or Monster Hunter UI and they're like, what is going on? And you're like, oh, that's all very necessary and important. Don't take any of that away. I agree with you on the visuals. Like it's like I didn't like when Minecraft Story Mode did some changes to the characters and stuff, and it kept the blocky look of them, but also made their mouths sort of like a tiny bit 3D, but not quite 3D. It was a bit gross. This I don't like. This I don't hate as much, but I still feel like it's the chibiness and the big heads are all a bit odd. But hey, if it fits in the style. Also, what you said about it being chaotic, there's a bit where you're clearly sending an army in somewhere, and a character sort of like throws something that lands in a specific point, and the army starts going towards it. How assuming that's in the way of gameplay and it is from that angle, how can you be that precise? I'm sure
I don't know. I'm sure there'll be like a pointer or something that you're moving that maybe they've removed just to make it visually more appealing. But with a mouse, I mean, that's the most simple solution, right? You have a mouse and you click. With a controller, it's going to be a little bit more free roam. But they're bringing Age of Empires to console, so I'm sure they can bring Minecraft Legends. And
they're bringing it to everything.
That's true. In April, right? April 18th.
April 18th is going to everything. The Switch is going to the PS5, which I guess another something Sony can't complain about in terms of their ongoing arguments with Microsoft about the Activision takeover. But oh well.
Yeah, that's heated up again. We'll probably talk about that another week. But
Okay.
I'm looking forward to checking it out. It comes to Game Pass, so I might as well give it a try. I just don't know if it's for me. I'm not a big Minecraft guy anyway. I used to be back in my teens, but that was a long time ago at this point.
It's something I picked back up last year, and would probably still be up for doing. I installed it on my Steam Deck to just because I thought that'd be nice to play, but I realised I already own it on Switch, so who knows? Yeah, let's move on. So the next thing that they showed off was Forza Motorsport. Now, I might take a seat here because I have never played a Forza game in my life. Am I pronouncing it correctly? Forza?
It is Forza like pizza, and lots of people say Forza, and that's fine. You know, if you want to be incorrect and say Forza instead of Forza, that's fine. You go ahead.
What does Jeremy Clarkson say?
Who knows? He's a twat.
Yeah, that's a good point. So yeah, why don't you explain what's going on here and what is any good about this?
So this is a revival of what was considered, I think, the mainline Forza game. So these were the originals. Forza Motorsport were the original games that were built to compete with Gran Turismo. So it's Microsoft's like Gran Turismo series, built by Turn 10 Studios. Versus the Horizon series, which are made by Playground Games and use all of the same models that Turn 10 give them, and they kind of share assets between the games. But Horizon is open world, they're more fun, they're more arcadey, they're not simulation games, whereas Forza are simulation racing games. So I think they said they've got something like 20 tracks, it's like 20 destinations, 15 returning, 5 new ones. All done with photogrammetry. They've got ray trace global illumination in there. We've got 500 cars, including a bunch of racing cars that have never been before seen in the series. And the cars just look visually stunning, like they always do. But this looks like a true next-gen racing game that I don't think we've seen yet. Gran Turismo obviously came to last gen as well, so did Forza Horizon 5. This will be the first true next-gen racing experience that will be coming to Xbox at some point this year. They haven't said a specific date. It's just coming in 2023, and I could easily see that getting pushed back into next year at this point. If not, it'll probably be back half of this year, November time, like Forza Horizon 5 was. But this is like a reboot of the franchise. That's why there's no moniker on there. The last one was Forza Motorsport 7. This one is just a return to Forza Motorsport. And I'm hoping that means that they just keep adding courses, adding cars, and just building on it as a kind of platform, like a live service game. We don't need multiple Forza games on any generation of console. Just build one and just keep adding to it because they've got all of the stuff in there that they need.
Yeah, there's a time and a place for live service games, and this and FIFA and games like that, I feel like are those times and places, things that are platforms, they are things that build upon, they are sort of iterative, they grow every year, not games that you release and then after a year they shut them down, you know. Did you say Forza 7, Motorsport 7, when did that come out? Is that sort of a couple years old? Or?
7 must have been like 2018, 2019, something.
Oh, so they're not like it's not like a Horizon, then a Motorsport, then a Horizon, then a Motorsport.
No, it's been a real hot minute since Forza Motorsport 7 came out. It was 2017, so it's been, at this point, 6 years since we had one. And we've had 2 Forza Horizons since then. We had Forza Horizon 4, which I think came in, must have been 2019 then. And then that was 2018, and then we had Forza Horizon 5 last year. Expect a Forza Horizon 6 next year or the year after, because they'll share the assets from this, and they're probably already busy building out the next kind of country that they go to, wherever that may be. But having said that, Playground Games is working on Fable, so it may be that we have to wait a while for another Forza Horizon game.
As a recent Games Pass subscriber, Games Pass, whatever, because of the game we'll talk about in a moment, I feel like I want to try Forza Horizon for the first time. Never a franchise I've touched or thought about, but I feel like I actually would enjoy going around France or Mexico or wherever they are
Well, Horizon 4 is in the
in
UK.
fast cars.
I think
Is it
where you live is on there, so you might be able to go have a
really?
look around. Yeah.
Damn. Okay. Cool. I look forward to seeing nothing. No, Hertfordshire is a lovely place. I'll back it actually. So obviously you're going to pick this one up, right? You don't have to. It's on Game Pass. What a stupid question.
It's great, but I'll
this is-
try Forza Motorsport. I don't think they're for the average Joe to pick up. They're for people who know they like racing games, that have tried them and have played racing games and like simulation. The average Joe, the Horizon games cater for them. You just want to fuck around with your friends and you want to drive about and smash shit and not worry about your car getting wrecked and not working. You wreck your car in this, the wheel falls off, your car's not going to drive very well, or you smash like pieces off of the thing, it's not going to work very well. Whereas in Horizon, it runs perfectly. You can't destroy the car.
Yeah. The only time I've ever liked playing games like this or Project Cars or Assetto Course, whatever I don't know what it's called, is when you have the full setup. The wheel, the pedals, the gear stick. Because I always like doing when I do reverse, I always look behind me as I go, just for the full effect.
Just get a second
Nothing
screen set
behind
up
me,
behind you.
Yeah. What was the? Do you remember that year of E3 when Sony were like, this year no gimmicks, and then they were like, and in Gran Turismo you can use your PS Vita as the wing mirror or the.
Was that the same year
whatever,
that he said no one wants to play these old games? We believe in generations, and there was all of the old Gran Turismo games behind him.
I think this was much older, but it could have been that one. It was the same year as Giant Enemy Crab.
Oh, okay.
This is a historical
2013, 2014 era?
something like that. Yeah, like this is a historically accurate game. So here's this Giant Enemy Crab. Anyway, I look forward to seeing the models on this and the visuals on this. But let's move on to something that I'm sorry to say I have nothing to say about, other than this Elder Scrolls Necrom, I believe is how it's pronounced. It's the latest expansion to Elder Scrolls Online. I've never touched Elder Scrolls Online. I've barely touched Skyrim and Oblivion, to be honest.
Okay, well, don't play Elder
latest...
Scrolls Online if you've not played the mainline Elder Scrolls games.
Will just give me a bad experience, will it?
Unless you're really into MMOs, then it's
not since I was a RuneScape tween. So no.
They're not. It's not for me. My sister adores this game. It's her game. She plays it all the time, and for me, it didn't give me the Elder Scrolls experience I wanted. I wanted something like a Skyrim online, and it doesn't feel like that to me.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's a shame. I've seen gameplay of it, and it doesn't look like that. It just sort of maybe feels more like an MMO. But the only reason this piqued my interest in any way is because when I looked at the image yesterday, I missed the direct live, and when I saw the image of the recap and I saw Elder Scrolls Myth the Online bit Necrom, and I was like, oh my god, they've announced the name for Elder Scrolls 6, and I have got another point on the predictions for this year.
I thought your prediction was it didn't have a name and it was just going to be Elder Scrolls 6.
You need to check those predictions. Yeah. It was that they will announce the name, and I thought this was it, and it's not. But no, I said that it would count if it was just Elder Scrolls 6, because if it just needs to have a final name.
I remember you talking about it just being Elder Scrolls 6, and I was like, there's no way it's going to do that. No, but you're off the trolley if they think they're announcing the name this year. There's no chance now.
Well, we'll see, mate. I'm already 1 point up. How many points are you up? 0.
Well, we got to the end of the year, but we'll get to that.
That's fine. I have no more to say about Elder Scrolls Necrom. I'm going to move on to Redfall. I feel like I'm blasting through this. But,
Necrom, you're not interested at all in checking out Elder Scrolls? Because I think what's interesting about Elder Scrolls Online is this is another one of those silent hits for Bethesda and Xbox, in that it has so many subscribers, it's on all platforms, and it plans to stay on all platforms. And this is another one of those ones that Sony kind of ruins Sony's argument, in that this is going to stay multi-platform. It's an MMO. It makes sense to stay multi-platform. Why would they take it off of the PlayStation Store when it's existed there for so many years? People have bought the games, and it's going to continue to live there. The same with Fallout 76. And so I really struggle to see Sony's argument outside of Call of Duty, because Microsoft bought Bethesda, kept all the games there, continue to release games there like this, and it's bonkers to me. But
I agree with you. Don't you worry about that. Yeah, I think it's yeah. This is like you said, it's just another proof of like Sony just sort of grasping at straws a little bit. But hey ho. Um, what has impressed me though about all of these games, especially like things like Minecraft Legends and Elder Scrolls Online that are on PlayStation, is that every single one of these games that was listed is going to be on Game Pass, which I think is quite. Is it Games Pass or Game Pass?
It's
Games Pass.
Xbox or PC Game Pass. And it doesn't make
Game
sense because you
Pass.
get more than one game. So I'm with you. It's Games Pass. You can call it
Thank
what
you.
you want.
Right,
It's
okay.
your
I'm going to
podcast.
call it Games Pass. Official. I am hosting today, and I say Games Pass.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I think it's pretty impressive that these games are all going to be. At no point watching this thing do you ever have to go, oh, where am I gonna get the money for that? Especially when I saw Redfall, the next game we're going to talk about, pop up on Steam earlier, and it's like £60 on Steam at launch.
Yeah.
And yeah, that is
and it's day
because I
and
have
date,
no
right?
interest
It's not
in it.
like
Mm-hmm.
PlayStation service where it is it's going to come to the service eventually, but it'll be like at least a year later, and then eventually I'll get to be able to play Returnal or be able to play The Last of Us Part 1. You haven't got to worry about that. It's just I pay my $120 a year or whatever it costs, and if as long as I play 2 games, I'm up on the deal. And every single year, there's always more than 2 games I want to play. There's indie titles that go on there. I was playing Persona 5 Royal through Game Pass. It's like it makes sense to get Game Pass if you have an Xbox. I actually think it makes sense to get Game Pass if you have a PC as well at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at the Game Pass thing as you spoke then, and I'm seeing, I'm quite impressed by Personas are on there. They just got added. I want to install Forza Horizon 5 when we're done with this. A lot of things I want to check out. Not great when I got a game I've actually paid for coming out tomorrow, but hey ho. I actually just seen that Anthem is on Game Pass.
Oh yeah, you get all of EA Play included with Ultimate. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, Assassin's Creed Odyssey and Origins. Wow. Anyway, let's move on. Redfall is.
Hold on one sec. Is this your first time you've ever had Game Pass?
No, I bought it. I bought a subscription when I wanted to test it out on my phone. It didn't work, so I uninstalled it, and I've just never got it since.
Yeah, the streaming shit.
Yeah, so I've never bothered with it. Never really looked at it. I've recommended it to other people because I know there are certain games on there, or I'll just say, yeah, you should definitely try out Game Pass if you want sort of good value. But never have I really delved into it very much. So I am quite impressed by what's on here. It was Hi-Fi Rush that got me. Yeah, cool. I don't want to buy that. I want to play that. And also Tunic's on there, and I just was able to through a friend was able to get a copy of Psychonauts 2 because I didn't want to buy Game Pass just for that. But now I could just have it on there as well. There's a lot of value to be had, and I, as a PC player, didn't think that would be there for me. I thought that was more for Xbox players, and I've never owned an Xbox. So yeah, this is impressive.
Yeah, it's pretty good, and they recently added mod support as well. They changed how it all works. So if you're a PC player, you can mod the games as well. Because I know my partner was playing SnowRunner, and the Steam version used to let you mod, but the Xbox Game Pass version didn't, and now they've added mod support in so that they can mod the game and play with their friends.
Excellent. Yeah, I think my friend, when we were playing Minecraft, he had it on Game Pass, and he was just like, "Oh, I can't do a bunch of stuff," and I was like, "Oh, it sucks for you, man." Yeah. Let's actually jump on to Redfall, which is a game I remember them announcing, and then just let it disappear from my mind until yesterday.
They've announced and they've spoke about
this is the first.
I feel like a lot.
Maybe I just don't pay attention to Xbox stuff because I've never owned an Xbox. I'm aware of the big things that happened, but maybe not things like this. But it's Arcane, right?
Yes, this is Arcane Austin, not Arcane Lyon.
Mm-hmm.
So they have 2 studios. I think Arcane Austin is responsible for Dishonored, and Arcane Lyon is responsible for Deathloop. But I will double check that.
So this sort of at first glance, you could see being a Deathloopy, one of those sort of styles of games. But this seems to be their first sort of co-op game, if I'm right. because I didn't really know what it was. I assumed it was like a Left 4 Dead thing by what people have said about it when I was sort of looking into this, saying, "Oh no, we've got another Back for Blood, another Left 4 Dead on our hands." But this looks a little bit different to me. This doesn't look like, you're just sort of trawling through, shooting things that turn up. This seems more about exploration. This seems more about sort of finding your way around and like doing that with friends. Seems like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So like just this one trailer has kind of like made me a little bit interested. I also like the enemies, like these sort of long-limbed vampires. So yeah, I mean, it seems like something I might be interested in on Game Pass.
This one trailer turned me off. I was really, really excited to try it out because I loved Deathloop. I like what Arcane has to offer. I liked Prey. I've tried Dishonored, but it wasn't really for me. And I was right. This is the team that built the original Dishonored and Prey. Deathloop was by Arcane Leon, and Dishonored 2 was by Arcane Leon. But okay. I knew it was multiplayer. I knew what it was going to be. I knew it was going to be like a Left 4 Dead or a Back for Blood, and we squad up and we go out and we're trying to do these challenges. Looks like you can just go off on your own, and you don't have to stick in a group. And it is this large, sprawling, open map that you can kind of have a look around. I guess similar to like a Phasmophobia, right? Where you go off doing your own thing, and you like talk to your friends, and you're just like, oh, I think I've seen something over here, and then everyone can be like, all right, everyone needs to get to the gas station, or everyone needs to get to this place, or whatever.
All right, cool. I was thinking sort of like Division from your explanation there. Is it anything like the Division? Or is that, I can't remember if that's purely you squad up and you stick together?
Yeah, I think that's you squad up and you stick together and you complete the challenges. This looks like you can stick together, or you can just like fuck off on your own and mess about, or you can get into position. So that at the moment, if you're watching on YouTube, we're showing footage and someone's playing as a sniper, and you can like pick different characters, and they each have different skill sets and different weapons and different like loadouts and things like that. So I think there's a lot here to unpack, and I guess I need to give it the benefit of the doubt. I need to give it a try because I loved Deathloop, despite thinking before launch that I would hate it. So it could be that, me, you, Pete, Sierra all play this or whatever, and we team up and we
stream game.
Yeah, we stream a game, and we'll have a great time with it. Or it could be that I play it a few times and it fizzles out for me, just like Back for Blood did. And I think it's probably going to be more that. And I really think these kind of games, when they're a full price title, really struggle to hold up against free-to-play multiplayer games because people just expect to not pay for multiplayer games at this point. And it's a real shame.
$60, that's for each person, right? Let's say you get 4 of you, whereas you could all be on Fortnite having not the same experience, but it is quite similar that you would be in an open world roaming around, calling out things, but that's completely free. You haven't had to pay $240 between you to do it.
And granted, if you've all got Game Pass, it doesn't really matter because you're all going to play it anyway because you've all got Game Pass. But if you don't, it's a $60 purchase for each player, and that's a very, very big ask for a game like this, I think.
Yeah. I can see this being a game that I would die a lot in as well, because like I'm watching the video now, they're doing a load of cool stuff that I would just be trying to shoot and failing at. I'd be panicking. So yeah, that comes out 2nd of May.
This was the game we saw the most of this game, I think. This was the first real deep dive that we saw into the gameplay. Out of all of the other games, it was this and Forza Motorsport that they spent the most on, but it was this game in the presentation they dedicated the most amount of time to. I think it was like 10 minutes of the presentation that was just Redfall. And I was kind of surprised by that. I thought that it would just be like a short, here's the game, this is what's going to happen. But I may end up just playing this single player and just giving it a try. That's also another option. So
yeah, I mean, we'll have to see what happens when it comes out. But I'll definitely give this a try, seeing if it's on Game Pass, which is not something I've ever said before. So yeah.
And I think if there's a good loop, like if the loop is like you go out, you like build up your arsenal, and you kind of come back with like the rare weapons and the rare this, that, and the other, like you did in Deathloop, and then you can go again, then I feel like maybe that's enough to keep me coming back, because I do like looter shooters. I loved Destiny. I liked The Division. So if that's the kind of loop that this offers, then maybe I could get into it.
I hate loot shooters, actually. Thinking about it, I didn't think much of Borderlands or anything like that. So maybe actually that if that's what this is,
Oh,
I think I might
not
be
for
put
you.
off a little bit there. Oh yeah, it's free to try, isn't it? So or whatever the month of Game Pass costs me. So the last game they showed off, we will probably have a little bit of a deeper dive into. But for now, I'm going to do the thing that Pete does, where he lists the names of the people that keep the mics on around here. I don't know if this list is correct, so if I do miss your name here, I apologise. And if you shouldn't be on my list and you are on my list, you owe us the cost of being in this space.
I think it's
at the time
correct.
of this coming out.
January doesn't
Alright, cool.
January doesn't really change. It's like it's every month it changes.
Alright.
So it should be good.
All right, okay, fine. Well, this said December when I copied it, so who knows?
Oh fuck! No, I think that I see some of
yeah.
the new people in here, so it should be.
Okay, good. So let's start off. The Patreon producers for January are Anthony Gonzalez, Christian Oliveira, Christopher Valens, Earth Visitor, Gabriel Hassamaya, aka Asobi, Mary Berry, Matthew MQC, Ty the Dude, Wakahula, and Zaid Ida. I feel like I could do that off the top of my head, the amount of times I've heard Pete saying it, but thank you very much.
Some
guys.
of those people have been with us from the very beginning, and it's insane to me because it's like coming up on like 2 years, and they've been a Patreon producers for 2 years. So thank you very much, everyone, and thank you to everyone who just gives us anything over on Patreon. It's much appreciated. Your name shows up in the credits. You can get our weekly bonus episodes. I was gonna say After Dark, but we haven't done that since Loot Pots.
No,
one more thing
now, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, even the listeners and the commenters and the people who like it on YouTube and following YouTube, you're all appreciated. We all appreciate it. I'm sure Pete would say the same if he was here.
Yeah.
So, the big thing that I've been most excited to talk about this week, and I'm sure you feel the same way, is that the last game they sort of not just showed off in detail, but revealed and released at the Xbox Direct is Hi-Fi Rush. We've mentioned it a couple of times now. It was sort of a surprise drop. Would you call it a shadow drop? Yeah,
definitely a shadow drop. Follow up to Gravity Rush. Really great game.
Yeah, and there was another one, wasn't there? There was just Rush.
Just Rush.
The truck game. So this is from Tango Gameworks, who works on Ghostwire Tokyo, and there was another game they did before that.
Evil Within.
I can't quite remember. Evil Within, that's the one. Yeah, so it's sort of a rare Japanese launch from Xbox. One of the few Japanese
it's their only Japanese studio, I believe.
Right? Oh, it's the only one.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. And honestly, when you said Evil Within there, I'm looking at this video that's currently playing of this bright and colourful.
It's hard to believe it's the same
sort of cartoony. Yeah. It's even harder to believe considering Ghostwire Tokyo came out last year.
No, it must have been the year before at this point.
All right, Fiverr.
No, it was last year. You're right. They also released another game last year called Hero Dice on iOS and Android, which I'd never heard of.
Did they? They must be much bigger than I expect them to be. Then if they're rocking out multiple games over multiple years.
65 employees. That's it.
Wow. Okay, that's very impressive considering what I've played so far. If you haven't seen the game already and you're not watching on YouTube, it's essentially a sort of an action game, almost like a hero action game, like or character action, sorry, almost like Bayonetta or something like that, or Astral Chain, with very much like a Jet Set Radio, cel shaded, cartoony style. But the gimmick here is that I'm not using gimmick in a derogatory way either. Is that everything is rhythm based. It's set to a beat of the music, and you attack in the beat of the music, you dodge in the beat of the music, you dash in the beat of the music. Everything you do is to the beat, and the enemies are also on the beat too. And
just items in the world just like bouncing in the background, just like to the beat.
Yeah, everything
really
sort
cool.
of moves, and because what that does is it really helps you as you're fighting, because you have to attack on the beat to sort of do the most damage and avoid getting hit. Is that sort of helps you keep in time. There is a way to do it with the UI, but if you turn that off and you just sort of like immerse yourself in feeling what the world around you is sort of doing, it almost becomes a bit easier for you to just sort of like get in the rhythm as you're hitting and dodging and blah blah blah.
Yeah, what's cool though is like there is like the contingency they've put in that if you need to, you just press the cheese slices button on your controller, it'll bring up like a thing on the screen where you can visually see and hit the button in time, which is nice, because I remember it reminded me a lot of as the kind of moment-to-moment gameplay. The only thing I can think that was even remotely similar was like a Cadence of Hyrule, where you're like attacking on the beat, and like you get bonuses to if you like hit on the actual beat and getting into the music, which was really, really cool.
Which itself is Crypt of the Necrodancer. You know, you and the enemies are all moving. You know, every step you take, every move you make, every attack you do is on the beat, you know, which again, when I was playing Cadence of Hyrule, I remember having that I am moving and attack, step, attack. And I had that with this where it's like, cool, X, Y,
I know, but
break,
like the music
Y,
changes.
attack.
So like it's not like the beat's always the same. Like the music can change in Hi-Fi Rush, which is really cool. And like there's different types of attacks that you can do. And like the movement's not based on the beat. And I like the fact that you can hit and miss the beat on the first one, but it'll always hit on the beat. So the first one you can just hit whenever you want, but then the next ones will like line up with the beat. If so, like the fridge or the vending machine dude like gives you hints on like how to play the game well, which is
smidge.
Which is pretty. It's very weird.
It is. It's good though. I mean, I look at that kind of fridge character. I look at the fridge characters in like Ukulele, which is just one of the most disgusting pieces of character design I've ever seen in my life, and I think it's just so much better. But you're right that they have. When I first saw this, I was like, oh no, like what if I'm not a super rhythmic dude like I think I am, and I'm going to be messing up the whole time, like when I try and play Beat Saber or something, I just mess up. But yeah, once you do that first hit, what happens is if you miss the beat, the attack doesn't happen until the beat happens anyway, and then the game says if you just attack when your attack hits, you're going to be on the beat anyway, because if you hit then, you know, just off beat and then the attack hits and then you just keep tapping on the beat if you hitting, and you're
and then they have like a clap sound if you want to do that combo that's like in between, like you want to leave the clap and then you can kind of come back. So there's like a lot of stuff in there and a lot of visual clues as well. Even someone who's not musically like in any way talented, but I do love rhythm games, I am really good at Beat Saber. So like I got the hang of this. I got like a fairly few S ranks like across the board when I was going through the first stage, which was nice.
How did you end the first stage? What was your score on the first stage?
I don't remember. Like because it comes up with all of them, and then like gives you
then you get like the score at the end.
I think I got an A rank.
Overall.
Because like the first ones I did, I was atrocious. Like I wasn't getting it at all. So like and like the final boss, I was like, my partner ended up coming in and was talking to me. So like the time to clear it, I took ages on it. Like in time I was fine, but the time to clear was like a C, and it really dragged my score down. But I could see myself wanting to go back and like trying to get these scores up, which is unusual.
My score got dragged down because I've got Cat here. Well, I was like, I'm sorry, I've really got to play this game for the podcast, and I was on that boss, and she was like, oh, I've got some work drama for you, and I looked over for a split second, and I got my only death of the whole sort of first level, and that knocked my score down quite a lot. So that was a shame. But I think I was really worried when the dialogue was first. Sorry, the trailer was first on, that the dialogue did seem a little bit cheesy for my liking. Like the first line, obviously, you set a precedent when you say, "Oh yeah, that's me. How did I get here?" Blah blah. Like I get that, and there were some bits where I was just like, you know, after me doing a lot of complaining about Forspoken in the last couple of weeks, I was worried this was going to be a sort of a similar situation. But the game's actually quite funny. Reminds me a lot of Ratchet and Clank or old Ratchet and Clank.
I thought it was really funny, and you're right when you compare it to like a Jet Set Radio. It's got the visual style, but it's also got like a vibe of a Dreamcast game. I really thought it was. It's really charming. And I love it. I love the premise. I love the story. The fact that this evil megacorp like incorporates an iPod into your chest by mistake, and like now all of a sudden everything you do is in time with the music of whatever was playing on your iPod. It's like it's awesome. I'm in love with the game. Like I've had a couple of really bugs. Impressed. Like I had a point where I had to completely restart the game because it's like it goes into like at one point it goes into like a 2D side-scrolling platformer, which was really cool. But like the second shortcut where the yellow kind of elevator falls down, it wouldn't then scroll across the screen. So as I walked off, I kept falling down a hole. It was really fucking strange. And then when I just restarted the game, it worked absolutely fine. But you didn't
have to restart the whole game, no?
No, I went to title and then just like came back in.
Right, okay. Yeah.
And it took me back to the checkpoint, which I think was at the beginning of that that 2D side-scrolling section, which was very unexpected for me. I wasn't expecting that at all, and I wasn't expecting the sheer amount of platforming that's in the game either. I think the world and the platforming, I don't know if you've ever played it, reminds me of Sunset Overdrive, which I guess is similar in concept to Ratchet and Clank. It's obviously by
very
Insomniac.
much so.
But I think like visually it looks like that. It's so colorful, it's so vibrant, it looks like a comic book. It's just, yeah, I can't say enough good about this game. So far, this has been the game of 2023, and I know we're only like 3 weeks in, but we've had some big titles released. Forspoken's come out. We've had the new Fire Emblem game, and I think for me, in terms of the hype that's around it, Hi-Fi Rush has kind of surpassed those, and it's kind of insane considering we didn't even know about this game until yesterday.
It has come out of nowhere, and I'm very impressed with this. Yeah, like with you, I'm sort of quite in love with this, and I've sort of not really been being able to get into games recently this year, just because I've been playing a lot of Marvel Snap, and if I've not been doing that, I've been doing other things. I've just been waiting for like the one game that gets me started. Last year it was Elden Ring. This year I thought it was going to be Dead Space. Turns out it's Hi-Fi Rush, and who knew? Because I didn't plan to be playing this at all. I'm really excited to be playing this. Really excited to sort of play some more of this alongside Dead Space. I'm even tempted to put off Dead Space for a little while just to play through this, because the full price for this on Steam is $26.99, which makes me think this is going to be a shorter title. So I think I might be able to finish this one quicker, keep being in that pace before I pick up Dead Space, and instead of playing to the beat, I'm just running in the opposite direction and standing completely still to avoid going in and seeing what's making all those noises. So this is definitely one.
Apparently 8 hours, according to How Long to Beat.
Okay. I would say it's probably about eight levels. Then I would.
Yeah, they're about an hour.
The fact that there's already an average on How Long to Beat after less than 24 hours or around 24 hours.
That's only 9 people that have played it, so it's
fine.
It could quite easily change.
Fine.
But I'm so impressed with it, and I think for me it's exciting. It's the first real Xbox exclusive in like 2 years that I think anyone gives a shit about, and especially when you line this up with PlayStation's big exclusive of the last week, which is Forspoken. It's like, wow, they could not be worlds apart in terms of style, in terms of game, in terms of gameplay, and in terms of where people actually think of the game and pricing, right? One's a $70 title, one's like $26, or I think it's $30. It's like it's a $40 difference there. There's clearly a much smaller team that worked on this title, but it's like it oozes quality for me. It's like,
oh yeah,
it's so well made. It runs at a solid 60 FPS on the Steam Deck, and I might talk a bit more about that on the Steam Deck podcast this week, because I was really surprised at how well it performed. It like on high settings, solid 60 across the board. It's great.
Did you buy it on Steam?
Yes, I've bought it on Steam. I was going to try streaming it from my Xbox to the Steam Deck, but it's very, very clear that you need it to be as latent as possible. So you want to be able to like hit the buttons in time. So I was like, if I stream it from my Xbox to my Steam Deck, it's not going to be very good. And I really wanted to play this one handheld. It feels like a perfect handheld game. I've been playing it in bed, which has been nice.
Nice. Well, you were going to ask me something about playing on PC earlier, but I think I interrupted.
So you're playing this one through Game Pass on PC?
Yes, Game Pass on PC. Yes, yeah. Which I have had a couple of issues with it, but I don't know if that's launch issues or my hardware or anything like that. But I've had a couple of crashes. But yeah, other than that, it's been perfect. I'm running it in 4K. I'm getting a good 60 FPS. Just using a controller, it's great. The keyboard, the mouse and keyboard controls though, it's odd because it's left click for light attack, right click for heavy attack. So you are sort of like click, 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 to do it, which I think works better than sort of buttons.
Why on earth would you want to play it with a mouse? I can't.
Yeah, some people do. Some people like playing with mouse and keyboards, and I mean, some people play Dark Souls with mouse and keyboard, and I couldn't see it. But yeah, this is a game I think highly worth checking out on Game Pass if you've somehow missed it, or you weren't aware it was out yet, or for any reason, anything what we've said has interested you, go play like a very early Game of the Year contender that's popped out of nowhere. Why not? Treat yourself.
Well, especially if you like this genre of game, like if you like, I think, like action platformers, and then also add in some rhythm, a shitload of style, shake it all up, and you've got like Hi-Fi Rush. It's really great soundtrack from Black Keys and Nine Inch Nails. It's like
I was really impressed.
It's like really good
Nails.
music that you're playing to, which is really fun. There's like a streamer mode you can turn on as well. So if you are streaming the game, you can like just use their original copyright free music that they've licensed, which is like available for anyone to stream. So it was quite cool that they thought of that and put that provision in. But yeah, I can't say enough good about Hi-Fi Rush, and
No.
I really think everyone should go check it out. I know you said if you've got Game Pass, you should check it out. I think you should go and buy this game on Steam, even if you don't have Game Pass and you just want to play it on Steam Deck, or you want to play it on your PC. It's fantastic.
If you told me this was a full price sort of 50 quid, 60 quid game, I would believe you. It just has that sort of like Sunset Overdrive, that sort of feeling of a strong Xbox exclusive that you pay a full price for, I guess.
It brings up an interesting question about pricing, though, right? Because you said, well, this is only priced at $30 or $26.99 in the UK. So does that probably means it's a shorter title? And I I cannot figure out where kind of the line is drawn, because I know a lot of people are just like, well, we don't price games based on amount of like how long it will take you to beat the game, right? But there's got to be a factor in it somewhere. Maybe this is a longer discussion for a different show. But for me, if I was paying like $70 for a game that was like 3 hours long, I'd probably feel a little bit cheated.
That's in some ways is Resident Evil games at times. If you're not the kind of person that plays through them a load of times, you could bash out Resident Evil 2 remake in like 4 hours.
That's
really.
true.
People do speedrun them, right?
Resident Evil 2 remake, though, specifically has like the multiple playthroughs that you will want to play.
Yeah.
Resident Evil 3 remake, I can agree with you. I played that in like 3.5 hours.
Yeah, I think I beat in about that too.
But I didn't give a shit because I love Resident Evil.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I had a good time. So yeah, I'm very much looking forward to discussing Resident Evil 4 with you when that comes out. I think let's end today with a little brag from me. If that's okay with you, Steve.
No, it's not. I'm fuming.
Okay. All right, fine. So, if you are a regular listener, you may have seen a couple of weeks ago we did our prediction for 2023. I wasn't expecting to sort of be ahead so quickly.
Of course you were. You knew when the game was coming out. Of course you were.
I don't think I did. I don't think I did. I think I was quite surprised when I saw it was out in 2 days when I saw people complaining about it. But I think your dad's correct in that I am going to be winning so far. So Forspoken released this week, and the review embargo, I think, lifted on the day it came out or the day before.
Yeah, a lot of people didn't get copies.
No, I saw that. Yeah, I think it ended up with around sort of a 66 to 69 Metacritic score, and I had said that it would be under 80. Or sorry, originally I said under 75. Steve let me get an extra 5 in there.
I'm good like that.
And it ended up being, you are very nice, and I didn't need it. I feel a little bit vindicated. Is that the word I'm looking for here? I think so. When I have been saying for like a while that I think this game looks dodgy. I think this game looks like an Unreal Engine 5 demo. Like, it looks.
Is it even built in Unreal Engine 5? Isn't it an Unreal Engine 4 game?
Well, I probably meant Unreal Engine 4, which looks like an Unreal Engine demo essentially. And it just looked odd and mashed together. So now, okay. Well, they've done a very good job of making it look like an Unreal Engine game. Start again. Are you still in any way, or were you ever in any way interested in this game, Steve, at all?
Oh, God, no. I wasn't interested in this game at all. I don't like Final Fantasy games. And then on top of that, you've got an annoying fucking glove that won't shut the hell up.
Yeah.
It's just talking to you the whole game, and I'm just like, please stop. I saw that footage, and I was just like, this has completely dissuaded me from ever even trying this game. Not to mention the fact that it's a £70 game. I refuse to pay that price for any game. I still haven't paid £70 for a game, and I don't think I ever will. I'll always wait for them to go down in price. This is the kind of game that I think we'll see for like 30 quid back half of this year, and people will just be like, okay, yeah, it's probably worth checking out, or it'll come to Game Pass when it loses like its exclusivity next year, and we'll just be like, yeah, I'll finally check out Forspoken then.
I agree with you. I sort of think it does anything for me. I feel like there's too much, every single time they release a new trailer and I was like, oh, there's a loot menu. Oh, there's, this, the first trailer I was like, I'm into this, that seems like quite a cool protagonist. And then they really leaned into that. But I don't want to bog down too much into this because I haven't played the game enough to make any sort of solid statements. But I am winning the predictions and I really wish Pete was here for me to rub this in his face because I actually like to think of you as my comrade and I'm going to share the trophy with you when I get it.
Oh, I like to hear that. So we can chisel off in Bessie trophy off of that thing then.
Yes. Do
you know, this is going to be the FlipScreen trophy. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I agree.
But I don't know. It's like, I feel like, yes, you've got the points so far. But I also feel like that Metacritic score could turn around. I know it's very unlikely to change. But by the end of the year, it might increase, You never know. It's not going to increase by like fucking 14 points, though, is it?
So we're saying if they do like an Xbox release and they fix a bunch of stuff and they have like a second bout of reviews that it's going to be...
Yeah, then it could, or people might re-review the game. I don't know. It's very unlikely. I think you've got that one
I'm
in the
not
bag.
scared. I'm not scared. So yeah, let's look forward to hopefully more dubs in the coming weeks for me, for you, and not for Pete. So no, I'm joking. Pete's gonna have a couple. He's got a couple of good ones in there.
I'm just looking at the list now. You've got some on here that need to come soon, pretty quickly. So Elden Ring expansion released by the end of June.
That's June.
They could Tears of the Kingdom featuring Zelda as a playable character. We better see that soon because we haven't seen a deep dive into Tears of the Kingdom at this point. So that's got to be coming soon.
Yeah, I agree.
Other than that, you're also all like, yeah, it could be any time this year.
Let's just see how we go. I think that's probably the end of the show then. I feel like it has been a quick one, but I think it's just because we've been talking about the one topic the whole time, as opposed to last week where we were scrapping over two topics for an hour and a half.
Yeah, after scrapping with Pete for an hour beforehand.
Yeah. I think Pete complains about my handbrakes, but do you remember when we had like a 3-hour Game of the Year episode because he spent like 10 minutes talking about his number 10 pick?
I should have spent that long talking about Wordle, let's be honest. That was the real
game. You were right. You were right, and I will never I'll never deny that. Thank you very much for listening, everybody. This has been a fun show. Steve, has you got anything else going on?
Have we got anything else going on? Is there a
game club?
You know what? There is a game club, Max. It's coming out next Wednesday. It's episode 2 of the Persona 5 Game Club, so go check that over at... let me start that again. Go check that out over at youtube.com/FlipScreenGames. And we're also going to be putting the episode up on Patreon as an audio, so if you prefer listening to your podcast in an audio format, I'll be putting those up this week for you. So if you want to go subscribe over there, that's patreon.com/FlipScreenGames. You'll get the feed at any level, so you can just give us $2 if you want that feed. And you can also check out our website, flipscreen.games. It's got links to everything. Come join us in the Discord. Come say hello. Max is never on Discord. He misses out on vital, essential news. But I'm there, and you can come say hello to me and Pete, and just like everyone else in the community. All of the names we mentioned at the top of the Patreon producers, they're all there, making memes and sharing stuff. And it's good fun. Good community. Come check it out.
FlipScreen Games is only as strong as its community. And,
it is.
And I stand by that.
And that's
why I've never got a bad thing to say about them.
And before we end, I want to wrap up, Max, with what you thought of the presentation overall. And I want to ask everyone listening, especially if you're on YouTube, leave a comment. What was your favorite game that was announced? And were you disappointed, impressed? Like, what grade would you give it?
Are you asking me?
Yeah, everyone. You and the listeners.
Do you want me to do it now or do you want me to leave a comment?
You can do it now, Max.
Okay, fine. I'm confused about what the format is here. I think overall, had I been paying attention to this and I knew what it was going in, I would have probably been... I wasn't disappointed with it because I think Hi-Fi Rush was really cool. I'm going to say that was a solid C.
That's where I land with it. It's a C. Like
Yeah,
it was
Hi-Fi Rush is
solid, but
cool.
like Elder Scrolls Online, you have to really be into it. It's just a cinematic trailer. Forza Motorsport, I feel like we didn't really see anything new that they hadn't already shown us, other than just telling us a bit more information about the game. Minecraft Legends, I think, again, it's got to be a game for you, and I don't know who that game really is for. And I think Hi-Fi Rush and Redfall are really the two standout things there. And obviously Hi-Fi Rush was a really great surprise, but I feel like we probably could have ended it with like a sizzle reel or something, with like a look forward to the rest of 2023, maybe announcing the Starfield presentation at the end of that one, and just be like Todd Howard comes in and be like, isn't that great? And, you know, like, I'm going to be talking about Starfield in 2 weeks' time or whatever, the end of February or whenever it's going to be. And also, you know, we'll talk about the Xbox showcase that's happening, because they announced that after the fact anyway. And I feel like that would have really hyped people up to see it and see Starfield there, and like maybe talk about the fact that they're going to reveal a release date for that game soon. And I think that would have really just wrapped it all up for me. Just like seeing a little bit more of what we're going to get in 2023, because I really hope this isn't it. This plus Starfield, I don't think is enough for a really solid year for Xbox.
I do think they did a great job of getting ahead and, you know, saying this is what you can expect, whereas you know, Nintendo does some stuff like that.
They try.
Like,
they do try. They're like, it's 45 minutes focused on this. No new games will be announced. And it's just like, okay, but we're still going to tune in and we're still going to hype it up and pretend that there's new games going to be announced.
Oh, but the rumors said there would be games. No. Yeah, I think that was a solid C. I'm hoping that they sort of keep doing things like this, because I feel like whenever I've seen Xbox shows before, the last one I watched is when I think they announced Scorn. So we're talking like, it must have been 2020, or they announced that Scorn was going to be like an Xbox exclusive. I think it was something like that. 2020 was the last one I watched. And I remember just thinking like, this is dull. They've not got this down at all. But maybe this one is
format?
a bit
I think it was like Inside Xbox or Xbox On.
Yeah, Inside Xbox or at Xbox or yeah.
They stopped doing it. There was just like the format didn't work, and they just stopped doing it, which I think was a wise decision. Just cut their losses and come up with something fresh. And this seems to be a format that works.
Yeah, they are keeping it. They can keep trying, can't they? So I think that one can wrap up there. And thanks everyone for listening. I don't know which direction you are. One of these guys is Steve, and one of them is nothing. And I'm Max. And thank you very much. I'll catch you in the next one.